Okay, hello and welcome. So we are going to take a bit of a grounding practice today with kind of this onset of spring without getting all hippie-ish on you, but everything's starting to lift with the current life situation and news and so on. I thought it'd be really nice to have a really nice, lush, kind of stretchy grounding practice, but then we're going to use a wall or maybe a closed door and do a bit of handstanding as well, maybe. Let's see how we progress. It's all optional. So we're actually going to start in a child's pose. So just coming down, and you can have the knees wide and the feet together, and bring the hips down to the heels and just bring your chest, your forehead down to the ground. So that's option one. If that doesn't work for you, just lie on your back and bring your knees in towards your chest. Same shape, but just a different variation might be easier. And don't just kind of find the shape and be still. Just start to have a little bit of a wriggle into the hips. Whether you're on your back or in child pose. A little wriggle into the waist. And see if you can bring a little bit of movement into the rib cage. Just releasing the spine. And then if you're on your back, hugging your knees, keep the hands where they are. But if you're in child pose, come up onto the fingertips and really take a reach out through the arms. Find a little stretch into the armpits. See if you can soften your shoulders down. Rather than reaching them up with a stretch, soften and pull the shoulders down towards the ground and keep plugging the fingers into the ground. And if you're on your back, just rocking. And then wherever you come to, just pause. Release the palms to the ground if you're on fingertips. And find some stillness. And just take a moment before we kind of move on with the practice, just to check in. Just notice the ground. And notice your body on the ground. And then take a few breaths. See if you can breathe into the back of your body. Almost feeling the breath like a wave moving from the spine outwards across towards the armpits. And as you breathe out, feeling it coming back inwards towards the spine. We'll just take a couple more breaths. See what you can soften in your body wherever you are. At the end of the next exhale, if you're on your back, you're going to come around to hands and knees. If you're in child pose, push into the palms of your hands, look towards your hands, and then lift yourself up nice and slowly to hands and knees. And we'll step the knees underneath the hips. And just before we kind of get going, we're just going to find some circular movements into the hips, into the shoulders. Nice and easy, thinking kind of, I don't know if cats do this, that kind of animal movement, you know, when an animal gets up after they've been curled up. So just finding movement into the shoulders, into the hips, and we'll take the circles the opposite way. So it doesn't have to look a certain way, it's how it feels. Okay. And then next time you come somewhere near middle, we'll pause in the middle. Really spread your fingers and keep pushing into the fingertips as well as the knuckles of the hands. We're going to extend the right leg out behind us. Bring the toes to the ground and just give that leg a good stretch, nice calf stretch here. And you can be still or you can rock. You can rock forwards and backwards or big toe to little toe. Maybe a mixture of all three. And then we're going to float this leg up and try not to collapse down. We're pushing energetically away from the ground. Draw the ribs up towards the back of the body. Push through the heel. And then step your left hand forward and come right up onto the fingertips, just like we were doing in child pose. Push into the index finger, the the thumb of the right hand. Keep breathing. You can keep the left hand here or take the left arm out as if you're going to shake somebody's hand. But try not to roll too far over to the right if you take that option. Let's take one more breath. And as you breathe out, lower the right toes, bring the left hand underneath. And come back to hands and knees. Just take a little circle, just releasing. Go in both directions. And we'll do the same with the left leg. So bring the toes to the ground. And a little rock forwards and backwards. If your right wrist is aching a little bit here, come up onto the right fingertips. Just even make a knuckle. So just finding that movement into the left foot. See what feels good. Okay, and then we'll float that leg up. So toes are pointing down to the ground, pushing out through the heel. Try not to collapse in the center, so drawing ribs up. And then we're going to take the right fingers forwards. Push the fingertips into the ground. Okay, so we're going to come up into a bit of a handstand at some point in this session. So we need to start thinking about the shoulders. So just see if you can draw the shoulders in towards the body. We need a bit of shoulder strength. Okay, option to float the right hand forward. So if you're going to shake someone's hand, so the thumb is on top. Or fingertips on the floor. Taking one more breath. And then breathe out, lower the knee. And bring right hand to the floor. And again, just kind of ease it out. Feel it in the shoulders. Okay, and one last little thing while we're on hands and knees. We're just going to kind of activate in between the shoulder blades, or activate the shoulder blades. So I want you to see, if you push away from the ground, really feel your shoulder blades wrapping out towards your arms. So really push up, like the heart is lifting up. Notice if you're kind of doing it in the middle of your back, see if you can really push up through the upper back of the body as you push down through your fingers, push down through the knuckles of your hands. And then see if you can keep this activation in the arms, activation in your shoulders, and then kind of melt your chest down. So it's almost like your shoulder blades are becoming wings on the back of the body. Does that make sense? The shoulder blades are kind of sticking up, and we're trying just to drop the heart down. So we push away, really draw the heart up between the shoulder blades, and then we drop the heart and try and keep the shoulders up. Just do a couple of those. It's quite a good way to activate the core as well, without even thinking about it. So just finding a couple of motions. We'll just do a couple more and then we'll take a wrist stretch. Okay. Next time you push up, hold it up now. See if you can bring the lower back into it as well. So a full cat pose. And then see if you can come right up onto your fingertips. Really push down through the fingertips and almost squeeze your palms upwards. Draw the shoulders up away from the ground. And then take your bum towards your heels. We'll come briefly into kneeling. If kneeling doesn't work, come to a seat. But we're going to bring the backs of our hands to the floor. So your fingers are reaching in the direction of your toes. And then really spread your fingers. You can have the elbows bent here. So rather than pushing the palms down, we're flipping the hand. Push down through the index finger, knuckle, the thumb. So you can get the little finger reaching down, and maybe you start to straighten the elbows just a little bit. And if that's intense, stay there. If you want to go a bit deeper, you can make little fists with the hands. But keep pushing the palms down. Or the back to the hand, sorry. And then we'll release. Ooh, just give them a little rotation. Okay. So obviously, with handstands, a little bit of wrist action is required. We're going to come back hands and knees. And let's take it up into downward dog. So tuck your toes and then reach your bum as far away from your wrists as possible. Really nice, big, generous bend into the knees. Let your head dangle down. Look between your knees. And maybe just shake the head a little bit. Let the hair go. And don't worry about the legs just for a moment. So just really focusing, maybe a little wriggle into the hips, bring length into the spine, drawing the shoulders in towards your body. So strong hands, strong shoulders, strong spine. And then let's really bend the right leg really generously and try and bring your chest towards your knee and a gentle push down through your left leg, straightening the left leg as much as is comfortable. And then we'll switch. So bending the left leg really generously. Right heel comes towards the floor. And then bend both knees generously. Look towards your hands. We're going to step up to the top towards your hands and come into a little ragdoll. So take a hold of the elbows, bend your knees, bring your tummy to your thighs. Let the chin come to the chest and just have a little sway. And just let the shoulders kind of loosen up. Let the wrists go. And then we'll release the hands. Okay. Going to step back to downward dog. So finding your downward dog, just pedal out the legs a little bit more energetically this time. Loosen up, warming up the hamstrings. And then we'll bring it forwards towards the plank and then lower your knees down to the ground with control. We're going to take the right leg up and out behind us again, bending the right knee, point the right toes up towards the sky, and just start to take some little pulsations into that right leg. It's kind of like a butt squeeze, but a really wonderful way, if you have really tight hamstrings, to really bring a lot of blood into that area, which is going to help you find a bit of length. Okay, and then as you breathe out, we'll take it a little bit bigger. We bring the knee under as if you were going to kiss it. And breathing in, lifting it up. You can let the back arch like in cat-cow. So same spine as cat-cow, but just incorporating the right knee. Pushing into your index finger knuckles. In. We'll do one more, squeezing it through. And as you take it back, extend that leg out behind you, bring the toes down to the ground, push through the heel one more time, and then bring that knee down. We'll do the same with the left. So push through, float the leg up, bend the knee, point the toes up, and then just a little pulsation. I can really feel the heat pouring in to the back of my thigh with this movement. It's a really, really effective way. Okay, we'll take it a little bit deeper. So as you breathe out, bring the knee under as if you're going to kiss it. Breathing in to lift. So just taking a few, moving with your breath. Try not to rush through the movement. Just slow and steady. And last one. As you take it up, we'll extend the leg out behind you, bring the toes to the ground. Last little calf stretch. And then bring the knee to the ground, and we'll just take another little wrist release if you want to take that same stretch, or whether you just want to take a rotation of the hands, see what works for you, or a combination. Okay, and then we'll bring the hands to the floor. We're going to take it up into downward dog splits. So find your downward dog, push into your index finger knuckle, your thumb, root down through each fingertip, root down through your left foot and float your right leg up behind you. Try not to let that right hip come up too high. So pushing out through the heel, nice and square through your shoulders. Draw the shoulders in towards your body. Push through the fingertips. And then as you breathe out, squeeze that knee under like we were just doing. And we're going to step that foot forward between your hands. So coming into a low lunge. Back knee is lifted. So if you can come right up onto your fingertips, bring the chest through, looking forwards. Just hold it here for a couple of breaths. Pushing through the back heel. And we're going to lower the back knee. Plant your left hand and bring your right hand onto the front thigh. Might want to walk your front thigh out a little bit. Turn your chest towards the front thigh and either tuck the back toes and push out through the heel, or if you can, you want a nice long stance for this, is to bend the back knee, maybe to grab a hold of that foot. This doesn't suit every single body, so just listen. And if you can't lift the foot, if it only comes up so far, focus on dropping your hips down, and maybe the heel might come in just a little bit more. Or if the foot won't lift, quite common. Just bring the toes to the floor. So just see what works for you. Wherever you are, spread your collarbones, lift up through the crown of the head, and take a nice couple of full breaths. See what you can soften. Wherever you feel that tension, where can you soften? And then we'll release the back foot. Bring your front hand forwards. And we're going to step straight back into a downward dog. So pick up the back knee, plant your hands, step back, and bring both feet to the floor. So make sure if you're on a yoga mat, I hope you're on a yoga mat. You've been slipping all over the place. If you're not, have your hands as wide as your yoga mat. And just find some length into the armpits, some length into the spine, into the waist, down through the heels of the feet. And then when you're ready, we'll float up the left leg. So again, try not to kind of overextend here. So hips are pointing down, shoulders are square. Reaching through that heel. And then squeeze that knee underneath you. And see if you can step it between the hands. I always fling my left hand out of the way to do that one. So back knee is lifted right up onto our fingertips, reaching your heart forwards as you push out through that back heel, extending through the whole body, through the collarbones, up through the crown of the head. Taking one more breath. And then breathe out, lower the back knee, plant your right hand, bring your left hand onto this thigh. You might want to heel toe your foot out a little bit. So you can drop the hips or tuck the back toes. And you want to be like at the top of your knee rather than on the kneecap. See if you can take the knee back a little bit more comfortable then. See if you can lift your back foot, maybe find your foot. Maybe it's just this reach. And if that's the case, to see if you can drop your hips just a little bit more. Maybe the knee will come in a little bit more. Don't force it. See what you can soften. Just taking a breath or two. Okay, and then releasing that foot, bring it back, step it straight back to downward dog. Find some length. And then just a little challenge while we hold downward dog here. So plant your left hand, so you can come right up onto your right fingertips. Squeeze up through that right palm. See if you can draw your right shoulder back. So just a little wrist strengthener. Then we'll plant the right hand, take it onto the left. So really push the fingertips down into the ground. Squeeze the palm of the hand upwards. If you can connect to that, draw the left shoulder and maybe the left hip goes back a little bit. And then breathe out to release. So both hands onto the ground. Float the right leg up. And as you breathe out, we're going to bring your right knee towards your right wrist and lower the shin down to the ground. Come up onto your fingertips here. Okay, and then this bottom shin is going to slide underneath you. So if you can wriggle your foot through. And then we're going to lower the back knee. Okay, if there's any discomfort in this knee, you're going to come straight out. But if you can, try to have this foot a little bit active so the toes are kind of pointing inwards. We're going to come right up on the fingertips. Spread your collarbones and really lift up. Think of an arch all the way from that back heel all the way up to the crown of your head. So we're lengthening through the waist, up through the crown of the head. And then as you breathe out, you're going to bring your forearms down to the ground, maybe. See how it feels on top of that toe. Maybe you take the elbows wide, bring your forehead down to the ground. Okay, wherever you are, try not to sit on your right hip. You want to feel your left hip or something pushing into the left heel of your foot. And the right hip is just kind of hovering a little bit. This is called pigeon pose. If there's any discomfort in your knee, you come out, you roll onto the right hip, and you bring the back leg in. And from here, you can then lean over the right leg. So it's just a different variation. You get the same benefits. So just see what works for you. We'll take the full pigeon. Wherever you are, we're going to hold it for another 5 breaths. And just see if you can switch your mind off and just have awareness floating in the background. Just awareness of your body, awareness of your breath. Taking one more breath. As you breathe out, push the hands into the ground. Walk the hands in towards you. You're going to come right up. See if you can come up onto the fingertips. Lift the hips, so the hips are hovering off the ground a little bit. Spread your collarbones, draw the shoulder blades together. Maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you tuck the back toes. If you managed the little thigh stretch before, see if you can lift your back foot up here, a little bit more intense. Just coming through. And then the final option would be to plant your left hand and reach your right hand back and take a hold of that foot. So just be mindful, that's quite an intense pose. So maybe we stay here, maybe the toes are on the ground. So just see what works for you. And again, so just this grounding energy, releasing down towards the ground. Just taking a few breaths. And then we'll release the back foot. We're going to roll onto the right butt cheek and then bring your back leg forwards and round. So we're kind of in this half cross-legged state. So right leg kind of stays where it is. We're going to interlace our hands and bring it around the left foot. Okay, if that's not comfortable, if that's kind of too far, your arms are not long enough, what you can do is hook your index and middle finger around the big toe. That might be easier. Okay, and what we're going to do with a leap of faith is push down through your sit bones, lift up and lengthen your spine, and then see if you can then just float up this front leg. So it might be here. You might be able to go a little bit higher, especially actually if you take peace fingers. Sometimes a little bit easier, you've got a bit more space. But what we don't want to do here is collapse. We want to lift up. So whether you've kind of floated up a little bit, think of bringing tummy towards your thigh wherever you are. I'm going to take one more breath. Lift your heart up. And as you breathe out, we're going to bring this heel, we're going to try and bring this heel towards your right knee. So we're kind of stacking the legs. If this is uncomfortable, so you might be able to just release that foot down. Again, this is not every single body. If this isn't comfortable, you're just going to come to cross-legged with your left foot in front, okay? And wherever you've come to, we're going to lift up. And as you breathe out, think tummy towards the thighs. You can have the fingertips in front of you. It might just be that chin comes to the chest. You might be able to walk your hands forwards and sink it down. So just see which works for you. Just creating a lot of space into the hips, into the shoulders. We'll take one more breath. And then we're going to unravel. We're going to lift this top knee, left knee, send your right leg out long, and bring your left foot to the outside of that straight leg. So you're crossing your foot over. You're going to wrap your right arm, the opposite arm around that leg, so hugging it in, left fingers behind you. And just finding a little upward lift, hugging this thigh in. And reaching out through the heel of your right foot. Just taking a few more breaths here. And then breathe out to unravel. You're going to take the legs out long. Give the legs a little shake. Cross your legs. See if you can roll over your legs. Come straight to hands and knees and take it up into downward dog. Or however you find your way there. Finding your version. And coming into your downward dog. And just giving the shoulders a bit of a stretch. The armpits, the upper back. And when you're ready, we'll float left leg up behind you. Really reach through, push through your fingertips. So this is the foundations for our handstand that we're going to do today. And then we'll bring that knee through. Bring your left knee towards your left wrist. And then slide or wriggle that bottom shin just a little bit. And we wriggle the back foot back. And then lower the knee and tuck the toes. So we come right up onto fingertips to start with. Just remember, any pain in the knee, you come out of this, lifting up. So this line from the heel to the crown of the head. So you can drop the shoulders down the body. And then as you breathe out, lower it down. I'm going to bring forearms to the floor. Maybe this is where you stay. Maybe the elbows go wide. You can bring your chest, your forehead down. Keep those left toes active. Try and relax your shoulders. Notice where you bring tension in. And again, we're going to find a nice, slow, steady breath. If there is any discomfort, roll onto your left hip. Bring your right knee in, so we're in a more seated position. And then just kind of go as far as comfortable over that left shin. Just finding your variation for your body. We'll take a few more breaths. Just making sure you haven't rolled onto the left hip, so a little bit more pressure or weight through the right side. Taking one more breath. And then slowly push into your hands, lift yourself up, come right up, fingertips. Okay, lift the hips up a little bit higher, so we're drawing upwards. And then option to tuck the back toes, or option to bend that back knee if that's available for you. We plant the right hand and maybe reach back with the left. And then try and turn your chest back to the front. Ooh, it's a good old stretch. So try not to collapse down, so we're actively lifting up. But then trying to soften wherever you feel that tension. Take one more breath. And then as you breathe out, release. Roll onto the left hip. You're going to draw that right leg round into the front. And so let's go with the peace fingers. I think that's the best option. So peace fingers around your thumb, around your big toe. Notice if you're collapsing, lift up. So it's from this lower back. Okay. Broaden your shoulder blades. Relax. Broaden your shoulder blades. Broaden your collarbones. This is the point where I lose it. Broaden your collarbones. Draw the shoulder blades down the back of the body. Okay. Tummy's engaged. See if you can lift your foot. And if you collapse, lift it back up. Maybe you're here, maybe you can take that leg up. All depends on your hamstrings and how they're feeling right now. So an energetic lift up through your upper body. So if you can relax your shoulders. Feel your breath. And take one more breath. And then bring that foot down. Just bring your left shin forwards just a little bit. And then we're going to see if we can bring your right ankle to your left knee and your right knee to your left ankle. Confused myself there. So this is called fire log pose. Again, not suitable for all bodies, all hips. So if it doesn't feel comfortable, take it more cross-legged with the right leg in front if you can. Lift up out of the hips, relax the shoulders down. And maybe you bring chin to the chest. Maybe you bring your fingers to the floor in front of the legs. Maybe you walk your fingers forwards and take it into a deeper fold. So just see what works for you. Try and keep the sit bones rooted though. So try not to hinge so far forward that the bum starts to lift off the ground. I'm going to root the bum down. Relax the shoulders. Let's take another couple of breaths here. And then slowly walk the hands in towards you. We're going to lift this top leg, unravel the bottom leg. So left leg out in front, right foot crosses over the left. Opposite elbow to knee, wrap around and bring your right fingers behind you, looking behind you, hugging that knee in. Nice, few breaths here, relax your shoulders. And then as you breathe out, unravel, uncross the legs, give them a shake. You're going to cross the legs, see if you can come hands and knees, take it straight back up, downward dog. Lengthen out your body. And we're going to lift the right leg up behind you, reach, reach, reach. Step that foot through between your hands We're going to bring your right hand to the inside of that foot and then walk your hands all the way around, turning your toes as you go. So we're going to have the toes in, heels out, nice wide stance. So maybe take your feet a little bit wider. You want to feel stable through your feet, so lift up your toes. Really feel into the balls of the feet, the heels of the feet. So you can lift up through the inner arches. So we're activating the legs, hugging the muscles in. See if you can feel the thigh muscles hugging into the bone. And then relax the toes, but keep that action through the legs. You're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. See if you can bend your elbows, bring chin to the chest, lower between the legs. And that, again, depends on your body. You might stay up on your fingertips, bring the chin to the chest, and soften the shoulders. So just see where you come to. If you come low, you can bring your hands in line with the arches of your feet, sending the elbows back behind you. You might just be able to draw the upper body through just a little bit more. And again, wherever you've come to, just going to hold it for a few breaths. Let the exhale come down through the crown of the head, through the soles of the feet, palms of the hand. The inhale rising up through the legs. Take one more breath. And after the exhale, walk your hands forwards if you've gone into the deeper fold. You're going to bring left hand under your face. And as you breathe in, open up the right arm. So nice little twist. Breathing out to release. And then take the left arm up, breathing in to reach. Breathing out to release. And then we're going to take it, this time holding it up. So reaching up through the right fingers. Push through your index finger knuckle, your thumb if you've got the palm on the ground. Lift away from the ground, don't dump down. So find space in that bottom shoulder. So if you can draw the ribs in, lengthen the lower back. Take two more breaths. As you breathe out, lower that hand down. We'll switch, take it to the other side. So breathing in, reaching it up. Keep lifting through the inner arches of your feet. And then push down through your index finger knuckle, your thumb, each fingertip. See if you can lift out of the right shoulder, that bottom shoulder. Draw the ribs in. And as you breathe out, lower. Just take a pause. In between, let the head come to wherever feels comfortable. Taking a breath. And then bringing the head up. We're going to walk the fingers around to the front, turn your toes, and then step back. Last downward dog, I think. Last downward dog. You're going to float the left leg up, just balancing out. And then step your left foot forwards between the hands. And then we're going to hop the back foot forwards as well. So reaching the right foot to the front of the mat, coming into a forward fold. And as you breathe in, rise up halfway, lengthening the legs, lengthening the spine. And breathe out, take it down. Going to push through the feet, take the arms out wide, slowly come all the way up to standing. And breathe out, hands come to your heart. Okay, just going to take a little bit of a balance just to give the wrists a little rest before we come into our handstand. I'm quite excited. Okay, so a little bit of a balance because a handstand is a balance as well. And as we've opened up our thighs, hopefully, what we're going to do, we're going to root down through the left foot and then just lift the right knee up in front first. So you might be able to grab the shin, hug it in. Always remember, focusing on something that's not moving is going to help with your balance. We want to find a lift through the spine, draw the ribs in. Open up the collarbones. Okay, and then we're going to bring that foot back behind you. So if you can take a hold of it with your right hand. And what we're going to try and do is find those peace fingers and wrap it around the toe. Sorry if you don't like touching your feet, sorry. Now see if that feels comfortable. And we're going to take the left arm forwards. Okay, You can bring the index finger and thumb to touch, spread out the other fingers. So to help you concentrate, lift up, notice if you've collapsed. And then we're going to start to almost pull your toe, but we're not going to pull the toe. We're pushing the toe into the fingers and extending that back arm. We're not leaning forwards just yet. So we want to find a bit of a thigh stretch. Can you reach that right hip back just a little bit? This might be where you stay. Let's all stay here just for a breath. Relax the shoulders. And then for the final part, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can start to hinge at the hips and reach your left arm forwards. Lift the back knee up. Think extension in your lower back, a little bit of a back bend. Breathing in. And then to come out, lift it all the way up. Bring your right knee in. And release that leg down. I did not fall over. So give the shoulders a little roll, and we'll do the same. Give the legs a little shake. We'll do the same on the other side. Always know that one side is better than the other. The key is to focus. I have a necklace here. I'm focusing on my necklace. So plant down for your right foot. So we're going to lift the left knee up, squeeze it in, spread the collarbones. Find your balance. So you might be holding the back of the thigh. If balance isn't on your side today, don't give up. You need to just keep trying. So find that stillness. Grounding down through that right foot. Okay, so we're going to bring the left foot behind us. So you can hold the foot or interlace the fingers around the big toe. See what feels most comfortable. And then before we start to move the body, we find this connection. So bring your finger and thumb to touch, spread the other fingers, and reach that hand forwards. Okay. Then just gently start to push your foot into your hand, your toe into your fingers. Okay, lifting up, find length. Don't lean forwards yet. Relax the shoulders. Draw the ribs in. And we're going to start to hinge forward. So just a gentle push into that hand, extending into the left shoulder, hinging it forwards. And really reaching the ribs away from the hips, but lengthening that lower back. See how this side feels compared to the other. Take one more breath. And wherever you are, see if you can bring that knee forwards all the way up. Hug it in. And then release it down. Give it a shake. Give the shoulders a shake. Okay. We're coming in for the big picture. Just going to have a drink. So, you need a wall space, or you need a closed door. Ideally, a closed door that's not going to open on you, or it's not going to fall open behind you. So let's be sensible. Okay. Don't necessarily need a yoga mat. I'm going to move mine. Okay. So we're going to do the handstand against the wall, but we're going to use our feet on the wall. So rather than kicking up to the wall, we're moving away from the wall. And we need to measure where we're going to place our hands. This is all optional. Of course, it is all optional, isn't it? So what we do is we measure, we push the bum against the wall and the heels there. And you want to, probably easier to do it the other way. I've just thought, we do it the other way. Right, yes, sorry. So you push the heels into the wall. I do know what I'm doing, honestly. Push the heels into the wall, and where your bum is, right, that's where you're going to place your hands. So if you can turn your fingers away, and then kind of push into the ground. So this is where we want to keep our hands for when we come up, okay? So just have this sense, maybe keep one hand there, and place the other one there. You want your hands shoulder width apart. So we've come to hands and knees. And a really nice way to check this is to bring your elbow down where the heel of your hand is and the opposite one. And see if you can bring your thumbs to the inside creases of your elbows. So that's where you want your hands to be. So that's shoulder distance apart. So see if you can kind of mark the carpet with your elbows and then place the heels of your hands there. Most important part here is your hands. Your hands become your feet. So really spread your fingers nice and wide and start to find this lift through the palm, just like we were doing when we were tenting our fingers. So push through your fingertips, push through your knuckles, and then squeeze that palm up. And then you're going to take that up your arms, draw the shoulders into your body, okay? So remember all that. So I might not be able to talk when we do this. So what we're going to do, kind of come into a short downward dog. And you might find that you move your hands a little bit as you do this. I think I might go a little bit wider. Okay, so you're going to bring one foot onto the wall and the other foot. And we kind of come into this right angle pose, which is quite wonderful. And we're going to hold it for a couple of breaths, pushing through your knuckles, really drawing the ribs in. Shoulders roughly over the wrists. And this might be enough. Okay, we're going to come down. So you're going to walk your feet down to the ground. And whatever you do with these is come into a child pose. Okay, we're going to go back up. I just want to show you how to come out. Flip your palms up. Just take a couple of breaths. And then you slowly roll out. Notice where your hands were. Hopefully there's a little mark on the floor. Give the shoulders a little roll. Okay, so we're going to take it up again. You might just stick with that variation. Next variation is to take one leg up. So we're just playing, so just see what works for you. Okay, but when you're ready, you can walk it back up again. Maybe your feet go a little bit higher, don't go too high. So the next variation is to push your foot into the wall. Let's pick the left foot and then see if you can float your right leg up. Keep pushing away from the ground. Really use your hands. Draw the shoulders into your body. See if you can hold it. So strength rather than momentum. Draw the lower tummy in and then bring that leg in. Walk your feet down or hop. Take it into child pose. Flip your palms up. Maybe bring the hands by the feet. Just a little wriggle. Woo. I think we're going to do one more. Okay, last one. Okay, so find your stance. Walk it up. So again, maybe you stay here. Maybe you float left leg up. So find those foundations. Squeeze the palm of your hand. Push through your fingers. Breathe. Try not to overarch your back here. So if you can hold it, find that strength. And then bring it down nice and slow. Whoops. I slipped on my wall. Bring it down. Down to child pose. My face is like a beetroot right now. Relax the shoulders. And give the wrists a little rotation. Bring the chin to the chest. Slowly roll it up. So the next option from that would be to kick off and come up into a full handstand. I can't do that. I say I can't do it. It kind of scares me a little bit. So that option is there. It's a nice way to play. And you've got the safety net of the wall behind you rather than kind of collapsing. So just rotate the wrists. Or just take that little wrist stretch again. So the backs of the hands into the ground. Spread the fingers. Really push down. And then make a fist if that's appropriate. And then release or bring fingertips to the floor. Push through the fingertips, lift up, squeeze up through the palms of the hands. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then release. Shake it out. Okay. We're going to finish off with a bit of a shoulder stretch. And poot. Move my mat. Have a drink. It's really energizing. Handstands are really energizing, yet they're so grounding, because if you're not grounded and connected with the ground, you're going to lose your balance. So it's quite a nice kind of juxtaposition of energies. Okay, we're going to take a little shoulder stretch. So just briefly on hands and knees, we're going to take the right arm up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, cross it underneath. Bring your shoulder to the ground. Bring your right ear to the ground. See if you can wriggle that arm through a little bit more. And reach your left arm forward. You can be on the fingertips here. See if you can draw your hips back. Get a nice stretch into that right shoulder. See what you can soften. You could even flip the left arm so the palm is up. Just taking a couple more breaths here. And plant your left hand, unravel, slide your right arm out and slide it forward. We'll take the left arm up and then bring it all the way underneath. Ooh. So just wriggle so you get as much shoulder underneath as possible. Right arm reaching forwards, maybe flipping the palm up. So you can draw the hips away. And try and relax into the shoulders. And when you're ready, slowly uncurl, bring it out. Then come up to kneeling. And bring the hands behind you. Going to interlace the right thumb on top. Roll your shoulders back, spread your collarbones, lift your heart, look up, draw the knuckles down towards the ground. And then hinge it forward, so you can lift your knuckles up. Keep the shoulders drawing back, don't let them drop in. It's a nice shoulder stretch. Draw the shoulder blades together, lift the knuckles up. Might be nice to have a little sway of the shoulders here. Just make sure it's loose. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And then we'll release the hands down towards the ground. Chin to the chest, slowly roll up. Take your arms up overhead. And in a big circle, bring the hands back behind you. Bring the left thumb on top. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Lift up the heart. And then hinge it forwards. Lifting the knuckles up. Then the elbows. Find a little wriggle. See if it feels different. Keep breathing. And then we'll release it down. Just pause in child pose. See if you can bring the space between your eyebrows to the floor and gently roll your head across the eyebrows. And find some stillness. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, chin to the chest. Slowly roll all the way up. Ooh, give the shoulders a roll, see how that feels. And we're going to finish with a little legs up the wall. So if you want to, I'm going to pop my jumper on. If you want to pop any layers on, our last little pose. Really nice way to release the shoulders and the back. So to come into the pose, we bring one side of your hips to the wall. And we bring the hands down and try and keep your bum as close to the wall as possible as you take your legs up and swivel the hips as you go. And it might be when you get there, if your bum is really close, that might be a bit too intense for the hamstrings. So take your bum away a little bit. You might want to take the feet a little bit wider. You might prefer to have them hip distance. But what I suggest you do is take your arms out wide with the palms up, roll the shoulder blades underneath your body, and then close your eyes. You might like a little cushion under your head. A little cushion under the bum is quite nice as well. But just take a breath out of the mouth. So a nice breath in through the nose, open mouth. And just take a couple of those. Really feel the exhale in your shoulders, in your spine. the way down into the hips. And let the lips close. Let your face soften. Now just stay here for a couple of minutes, maybe. Let's see. But really try and relax into your hips, into your thigh muscles, into the shoulders, into the wrists. And have a sense of the legs really dropping down into the hip bone, into the pelvis. Release all effort. So just trusting in your body and just trusting in the silence. So I encourage you to stay here a little bit longer. If you want to move on, I could do it. I could stay here for a good 10 minutes normally. If you need to move on, I'm gonna just bend the knees, bring your feet onto the wall, and gently walk them down. Bring the knees in towards your chest, and keep the arms out wide here, and just a little rock. Ooh, feels nice. Little rock of the knees from left to right. Little massage into the lower back. Take a little wriggle into your fingers. And then we're going to bend the right elbow. Bring the right hand behind your head. And then bring your knees and your body all the way over onto the right side. So just using your right arm as a little cushion. Really bring the knees into your chest. Curl up into that little ball. Just pause. Keep your eyes closed. Just breathing into your body. And when you're ready, bring your left hand to the floor and slowly roll yourself up into the seat. Whew. And just take a moment, notice how you feel. Wriggle the spine. Notice your breath. We'll bring our hands together at the heart. Bow the head to the hands, the mind to the body. Namaste. Whew. I enjoyed that. I hope you did. Thank you ever so much. And see you tomorrow morning. Maybe not handstands in the morning, hey? We'll see what it brings. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Oh, my mouse. Oh, it's not. My mouse isn't working. There it is.